Hey guys, Emma-Louise here. If, like me, you've been really utilising some of that outdoor exercise time and taking some really beautiful runs lately, then this is a really beautiful yoga sequence for you. This is perfect for post-running and a really great way to help open up those parts of the body that can get quite tight from a lot of running. So obviously really focused on the legs, opening out the hips and a little bit of the chest and shoulders as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. See you on the mat. So just coming onto the mat and coming onto tabletop onto all fours, bringing the hands directly underneath the shoulders, palms nice and flat, fingertips wide. Bring the knees directly underneath the hips, about hips width apart, and make sure those toes are untucked so you've got the tops of the feet pressing into the mat. We're going to start just slowing down that breath and moving through a few cat-cows. So as you inhale, we're going to drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, take the gaze up, and inhale through the nose. As you exhale, round the spine, suck the belly up and gaze towards the belly. Inhaling, starting to look up, drop the belly. Exhaling, rounding the spine, suck the belly up. Inhaling, dropping the belly, looking up. Exhaling, rounding the spine, sucking the belly up. Inhale to look up. And then exhale, gently coming back to a neutral spine. I'm going to gently just come to sitting back on the heels. We're going to tuck the toes here. And now sit back onto the heels. Just a nice little foot stretch really. Just sitting back on them, making sure those toes are tucked. Just feeling that stretch come through the soles of the feet. And you can just hang out here if this is enough for you. Or if you like, maybe take the arms behind you, interlace the fingers and just grow nice and long with the arms here. Roll the shoulders back. Try to lengthen those arms, open out the chest there. Try to keep that core engaged. So try not to arch the spine too much and just push the chest and the belly out. Try to keep that nice engagement there in the core, nice and long spine, but then lengthening those arms, pulling the shoulders down and away from the ears. Maybe moving from side to side. Really, it's just your choice, just listening to the body, seeing what it fancies today, seeing how you feel, and just going with that movement. Just helping to open out, releasing any tightness in the chest or the shoulders, breathing through it nice and slow. Gently releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders back a few times, and then rolling the shoulders forward. Just help loosening it all up. You're going to come forward back into a tabletop, and this time just bring the hands nice and close together. And then step your right foot to the outside of your hands. And you can maybe lengthen that knee a couple of inches, just push it back a little bit. And then turn those toes out ever so slightly. So the toes are facing towards that top right hand corner of the mat. See if you can come up onto the fingertips here, take an inhale. And then exhale, see if you can come down to the forearms. Now, if this is too much, then feel free to grab any type of support. If you have a block, great, but a book or even a blanket or a sturdy pillow or something should do fine as well. Just something in between you and the floor if it's too much just to get straight down there. If you don't have anything to hand and it's still too much to come down, then you can always just take that right hand, press it into the inside of the right knee, and then just push that right knee out to the side and turn your chest with it and just open the hip that way. So a few variations there, a few options depending on where you are today, where you're feeling. Try to send those hips forward, breathing into this pose. If you have the forearms down on the ground, you fancy something deeper, you can tuck the back toes, raise the back knee. But again, listen to your body. See how you feel, don't push yourself. Just taking it nice and easy, especially if you've already done a run. This is just a nice little post-workout stretch for you, so nice and gentle on the body. On your next breath, you're going to come back up to the fingertips, bring the hands back to the mat. You're going to take that right foot and just gently slide it over to the left side of the mat, and then bring that knee down to the mat. We're setting up for our pigeon. So your left leg is still nice and long and extended down onto the ground. Those back toes are still untucked. The top of the foot is flat on the mat. Again, if you have any kind of support, you can always place it under the right butt cheek here. So a block is great, but also a blanket, a towel, a jumper, cushion, anything just to help support that hip if it's feeling a bit high. And just place it under there for a little bit of extra help. On your inhale, come up onto the fingertips. As you exhale, gently walk the hands forward and try to keep a straight spine now as you lower the forearms down, and then finally lowering the forehead, melting the chest down to the ground. Now, for runners especially, this pose can feel very, very tight. So as I say, it's important to get support there if that's feeling like too much. Just place something under the butt cheek for a little bit of support. And then really try to use your breath just to relax into this pose, releasing that tension. You're feeling this deep stretch in the hamstrings, the glutes, really opening out the hips. So use your exhalations just to release that tension. Start to relax the entire body down. I'm going to stay here for about 5 more breaths. On your next inhale, gently just walking those hands back in towards the body, coming upright. And then you can just stay up here for a moment, just still feeling that stretch up here, maybe slightly a little bit easier for you after you've been holding it for a little bit longer. Or if you want, you can start to bend the back left knee and then maybe reach back for the inner arch of that foot and just start to bring the foot a little bit closer to the body. Start to feel a little bit of a thigh stretch there. Again, if this is too much, but you still want a little bit of something, you can just release that foot and just start to reach back towards it. Or maybe just start to bend it and reach towards it. Don't worry if you're not able to reach the foot yet. Just breathing here, allowing that thigh to stretch. And again, as I say, just a little stretch. Just taking it nice and easy, listening to the body, and just giving it a beautiful and gentle way to open, nothing too intense. And then gently, we're going to release that foot down to the mat. You're going to come onto the palms nice and flat, tuck that back toe, and then just gently lift that right leg all the way up to a 3-legged dog. And then exhale, lower it down to a downward dog. Just going to pedal out the legs here. Take a few breaths here. Roll the shoulders back and away from the body. Bend one knee, bring the opposite heel down and switch sides. Breathing gently into the legs. And then slowly you're just going to come down back into your tabletop. Bring those hands nice and close together into the middle of the mat. Step that left foot to the outside of the hands. Again, you can bring that back knee back a little bit, make a little bit of space. Come up onto the fingertips, take an inhale. And then exhale, see if you can come down to the forearms, or again, if you need some support there, then bring that underneath and then place the forearms on top of that support. Or if that's all a little bit too much, just take that left hand, press it into the inside of that left knee, and then turn the knee out, turn the chest with it. Again, if the forearms are down and you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, tuck the back toes and raise the back knee. Let's breathe here. Try to send those hips forward. And then gently coming back up onto the fingertips. Bringing that left foot over to the other side, bringing the knee down. We're setting up for pigeon again on the other side. So lengthening that back right leg still nice and long. Noticing this new side. One side always feels a little bit tighter or looser than the other. So again, if you need some support, placing it underneath that left butt cheek. And then when you're ready, inhale, coming up onto the fingertips. Exhale, walking the hands forward, lower the forearms and the forehead down. And as I say, each side is a little bit different, so just noticing this new side, noticing your new level of comfort here, and just gently breathing into the posture, using those exhalations just to help release any tension, maybe in the hips and maybe in the hamstrings, the glutes, but also noticing elsewhere in the body. So maybe in the shoulders or the upper arms, you might be tensing a little bit. Again, use those exhalations to just melt the entire body down to the mat. Staying here for 5 more breaths. And then gently walking the hands back into the body, coming up right here. And then just either staying here or either just reaching back towards that right foot, or seeing if you can bend the knee and then grab a hold of the right foot from the inside of the right foot. And just giving that thigh a nice little stretch there. Gently releasing that right foot down. Now we're just going to come to roll onto the back of the butt cheeks here. So just bring the bum down, and then we're going to extend both legs out nice and long out to the side. And we're just going to come into a nice little wide-legged forward fold here. So try and have your feet nice and flexed. You can grab onto any of the fleshy parts of the legs, the butt cheeks, anything. Just bring them back and away from the body so you can really feel the connection of the sit bones and the legs nicely connected down to the mat. Have your hips nicely down. And then just bringing the hands in front of you. Take an inhale. And then exhale as you start to walk the hands forward. Now, try to avoid just rounding the spine and bringing the forehead down to the mat. Actually, the longer you keep the spine and the greater the space between the shoulder and the ears, the deeper the stretch you'll get. So just try to use those exhalations to just fold the body down and avoid rounding the spine. Keep the feet nicely flexed so you have that nice stretch there. And then only come down as far as the legs feel comfortable to. Again, take it slow. The longer we hold these poses for, the more our body gets used to them and we can come a little further into them. But taking it gently at first is definitely key, and then allowing your body to gently get used to it. Using your breath, using those exhalations, and see if you can come just a little bit deeper. Trying to avoid holding the breath just so you can just hold the pose and say, oh, when is this over? Try to breathe and relax into it. And then gently walking those hands back into the body, coming into the last pose here. We're just going to grab behind the legs and just pull those knees in towards each other, and then bring the knees wide, the soles of the feet together, coming into Baddha Konasana. Now, for me, whenever I do a run, this is just something that I really, really crave, is just this little stretch here. So hopefully you'll like this too. You're going to turn the soles of the feet out, so you're kind of opening your foot out like a book, bringing the soles of the feet to face up to the sky. Try to keep those knees down if you can. Maybe sit on a block or a book if the knees are really high and the hips are feeling tight. You can interlace the fingers underneath the feet if you like. And again, lengthen that spine. So inhale, lengthen the spine, roll the shoulders down, and then exhale, see if you can fold the body down a little bit. Or maybe just stay where you are. If you just want to hang out here, if this is enough, go for it. If you feel you have that flexibility, keep pressing those knees down towards the floor, and then folding the body down, keeping that spine long, keeping that nice space between the shoulders and the ears, and just feeling this nice little stretch here. Gently bringing yourself all the way upright, bringing those knees in together, hug the knees into the body, squeezing nice and tight, and then crossing the legs. Taking a moment here, maybe closing the eyes down. You can bring your hands onto your knees, maybe bring them to prayer, and just taking a moment to check in with the body, seeing how you're feeling, noticing what's going on in the mind right now, what's going on in the body. And then just bringing those hands to prayer if they're not already. Bring the thumb to the third eye in between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you.